Hey everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Tuesday tonight and I jump on Tuesdays and share a sketch with you. So tonight I'm going to play with the Regal Flora suite. Yeah, most of the suite. I'm not using the ribbon. I'm doing a color challenge, so it's a bit of a different color combination for this suite. Some colors that aren't in the suite at all, but I think they'll go. Hey, Catherine, welcome. I can see I'm live. I don't think I'm live in my Facebook group tonight. I don't know what happened. I'm just checking, but I don't think it worked to go live in my group. So, anyway, hopefully. Catherine's clearly coming in through Facebook, must be coming in through my Facebook page, so not to worry. So yeah, as I said, I'm using the Regal Flora. I demoed this on our launch on Sunday. I love this suite. I really think it's pretty, and it isn't a Christmassy suite. Yeah, no, I don't think it did go live. I don't know what happened there, but I was all set up to go live in my group, and for whatever reason it didn't. But that's okay. That's okay, I'm live here. I do want to make sure that I'm live in YouTube, but who knows what's going on tonight. It says it is live, but you know, you can never tell. Oh well, let's carry on. So I'm using Regal Flora. I used it the other day and showed on the launch. Thanks to everybody who joined us on our launch on Sunday. We had such a fun time, and I hope you did too. And hope that you got to see some of the products in the catalog that you have been thinking about, maybe debating about adding to your wish list. All right, so still getting used to things. Okay, let's switch over to my desktop and we'll get started. Okay, so this is the sketch. So lots of things you can do with this sketch. I've got a square turned into a diamond in the center of this. You could make a different shape if you wanted to. A piece in the middle. I'm going to use designer series paper. You could use embossed cardstock. You could create your own designer series paper. And then of course this piece in the middle, which I look on my piece of my drawing isn't quite in the middle, but that's okay. So the card base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. The gray layer is 4 inches by 5.25. This middle piece is 2 inches by 4 inches. And then this shape I've said 2.5 inches square, and I am using a 2.5 inch square. And then a piece for the sentiment, about a 1/2 inch by 2.5 or whatever fits. So this is the color challenge that I'm working with. Not really my colors. I will say that outright with this. These are not my colors. And the challenge is to use 4 out of the 5. So I'm going to use Blueberry Bushel, Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, and Shy Shamrock. Did I say Blueberry Bushel? So I'm not using Fresh Freesia. I thought that was just one color too many. No, not Wild Wheat. It's not on here. Otherwise, I probably would have used Wild Wheat. If you watched me like Catherine did, you know that Wild Wheat is one of my absolute favorites. So this is the Regal Flora. It isn't a Christmas suite, so the sentiments aren't Christmassy. It is a distinctive stamp. It is absolutely stunning. And so it isn't actually Christmassy. It isn't even really holiday. And some great sentiments. Sending love your way, thanks, missing you, and then these really pretty it's not two-tone stamping, but it is, there almost is like a line drawing with the image already inside of it. Okay, and then the dies, this is a great label die. I got a piece to show you. When you cut it out, it cuts out 2 pieces, which is always nice. So this is one I cut out of designer series paper. So you could mix and match your pieces. So it cuts these 2 pieces out of that one die, which is always nice. And then the other dies will cut out the stamped images, and then you have this extra die, which I have in here, I think. There it is. I cut this out the other day to see what it looked like. I haven't used it yet on a card, which is surprising because I love things like this that just give you that kind of texture to put behind. So it's just kind of, I don't know, almost lacy to put in behind something. Okay, so like I said, I'm using some unusual colors. So this is, I'm using Blueberry Bushel for my card base. So it's 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. My light's making funny noises here. All right, so we'll fold this into the mountain or the raised line. And then I've got, let's see, where is it? This is a piece of the Regal Distressed specialty paper. I believe it is part of this suite. If you haven't noticed this suite, let's find it here. Yeah, it is part of this suite. So it's on page 34 and 35. So this is the suite. It comes with the bundle. I'm going to use these embellishments. This is the Regal Distressed patterns. So it comes in the white with gold, cherry cobbler with gold, and then pretty peacock with gold, and then this gorgeous designer series paper and some ribbon. I'm not using the ribbon. So I've cut, this is one of the pieces of designer series paper that's very bright on the front. Like that. So I haven't quite decided whether I'm going to use, I lost my piece. I've lost my piece. I cut a piece. All right, I'm gonna have to cut another piece. That's okay, we can do that. Okay, so I might use, sorry, this is gonna go on like this. And then this, either this side or this side. I haven't quite decided. This is the, I love this blue side, so I might actually use that. Because of the colors I'm using, there's so many colors that I have to use stamped. I mean, I could pretend that I have Daffodil Delight, and I could pretend that some of the other colors are in it, but I think I'm going to just use that side like that. And then I do need to cut because I've somehow misplaced my 2.5 inch square. So let's cut another 2.5 inch square. So this is just basic white. And I know as soon as I finish, I will find my piece of basic white. Okay, so we'll put that on like that. This piece will go on like that. And then this is the diamond piece. And you can, like I said, you can use, I know both sides are beautiful of this. You can use any shape you want, but I'm gonna stick to the diamond shape that's in the sketch. And that, okay. Now, I decided that I wanted to kind of make this show up a little bit more. So I'm gonna put a frame around my white, and so I've cut 1/4 inch strips of the Blueberry Bushel. So I'm going to trim these, but we'll frame that a little bit like that, and we'll just trim it off in just a second. Let's get some of these glued down. Let's use our grid lines because clearly I'm not. Let's see. So this I need to be in the middle. The middle of this is 2 1/8, so there's 2. So you can use your grid lines on your grid paper or on your glass mat to. Ooh, that's clearly not. Oh, Melva. Oh, I should look at this before I actually press it down. This is 5 1/8. Oh yeah, 5 1/8. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing here. 1, 2, 5 1/4. So 1 3/4. That looks a little closer to being half. Maybe I should just eyeball it instead, because my brain is not doing the math tonight. So we'll just eyeball that. And then this is going to go on like that. And that may not be straight, but it's going to have to be. There we go. Yeah, that's definitely not straight, but that's okay. Or centered. It's straight, it's just not centered. Okay, so these are 2.5. So I'm going to take, when I cut my 1/4 inch strips, I just cut them all to 4 inches. So I'm just going to take and trim them all to be, we'll start with 2, and we'll trim them to be 2.5 inches. And that's a start. So we can take and glue this on. And we'll try and get that sort of in the middle. There we go. And then, so sometimes when I go to, so that'll fit just along there. Sometimes when I go to put glue on a little 1/4 inch strip, it doesn't work very well. So I've kind of started taking my glue and just put it along the, especially if I just got a little 1/4 inch strip, just putting it onto the piece that I'm gluing onto, which I don't usually do. But in this case, it seems to work. Because I always struggle with getting glue all over the place when I put it onto that little 1/4 inch strip. I get way too much. Okay, so the reason I didn't want to cut all of the pieces to be that, because I want these to be a little longer. So this is 2.5 plus 1/2 is 3 inches for these ones, because I've got that extra 1/4 inch for the blueberry bushel. So I'm going to cut these. Actually, you know, it would be way easier to do one at a time. So I'm struggling to hang on to 2. So there's a 3 inch. You can always trim these with your paper snips if they're just a little bit too long after you've cut them. There we go. Come on. And then we'll do the same with this. We'll just put a little bit of glue both sides here. And I might just trim, oops, I'll take my paper snips and see if I can get just under this end, because it's just a little bit too long. And this one, like that. That one's okay. All right, there we go. So we got a bit of a frame around it, and now we can start doing some stamping and decorating. So I've got a couple of little scrap pieces, and I pulled out Shy Shamrock, Flirty Flamingo, and Daffodil Delight. Oh gosh, that Daffodil Delight's bright. I may change my mind. Let's bring out the fresh freesia. Maybe we'll change our mind and do that instead. Okay, so the Shy Shamrock is going to be for some sprigs. I'm going to stamp one on there. Whew, this is going to be a bright card. And then, oh, fresh freesia. Just want to see how bright that is. Ooh, my fresh freesia is almost needing to be re-inked. So one thing about, and I think I reminded everybody on the live when I did it, stamp off with the Daffodil Delight. When you're using distinctive stamps, you always want to stamp off, or make sure you've got a almost dry ink pad, because you won't get the distinctive look to your images. So look how beautiful these images are when they're stamped. So that was stamped. Well, it's pretty much dry. This one is not fully, like if you've got a really juicy pad, like my Shy Shamrock is, it doesn't work real well. Let's try the Daffodil Delight, and it might be quite juicy. So we'll stamp off. I'm just going to use a little flour. Clean that off. And then we'll stamp off. Oh, yes. Yeah, okay. Stamp off it is. There we go. So, all right, I've got it there. If I decide to use it, that's great. If I change my mind, I can do that. Now, I'm going to stamp my sentiment in Shy Shamrock. And so I've got the sentiment that says, sending love your way. And I'm going to stamp that. Hopefully this piece is big enough. Nope. Let's do that again. That's why I got a long piece. Nope. Let's see if I can do this. Well, that's a little better. It really needs to be just a little bit longer, but that's okay, or a little wider. All right, let's take and stamp in Daffodil Delight on the inside of the card. Ooh. Okay, my Flirty Flamingo is not wanting to close, so we'll worry about that later. Okay, so that's for the inside. There's my sentiment. Now I need to cut out my pieces, so let's bring in my nice mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss. I think I can get all of these on. Yes, I can. And somewhere I have the dies, so that one goes there. That one goes there. And that one goes there. And a little bit of Post-it note tape. And turn this until you get it go in the right direction. I always have to kind of turn it around, and it's always the last direction. Didn't stay. This is definitely not holiday-like for this card. These colors, wow. Sometimes color challenges can be a little tricky to do, like this one. So this is for an upcoming blog hop. So we'll cut the Daffodil Delight. Question is whether we'll use it on the front of the card. If not, I will save it. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Caught that. All right, let's bring this back in. And let's just kind of do some auditioning, figure out where these are going to go. Oh, I can't say this is my favorite card that I've ever created, but it is what it is. All right, let's do some fussy cutting since I've kind of, my L is kind of cut off a little bit. So I'll cut around it. Like that. Okay, we'll use some dimensionals and pop these up. Cut around with your paper snips, and then these are ready to go, so you can use the rest of them on your projects. Don't waste your dimensionals. That like that, and then we'll use a glue dot and just tuck this down like that. That one down like that, and then let's take one of these pieces, long pieces. The edges of those dimensional strips are really good for narrow sentiment pieces, so that's what we use. And we'll just put that like that. Yeah, okay, not bad. Not my favorite card that I've made, but not bad. Let's add some embellishments. So these are, I've already run out of, this comes in 4 colors in this package. So I'm not sure what that color is, but I'm going to use it because it looks Shy Shamrock to me. So I think it's Berry Burst, Blackberry Bliss, which I've used, Misty Moonlight, and then maybe it's Garden Green, but I'm going to use it and pretend that it's Shy Shamrock because it really does look Shy Shamrock to me. It is cheery looking, for sure. And then we'll use this one with the anyway, it just goes to show you that even though this Regal Flora and the designer series paper is called Regal Winter, you can make a card that is looking quite spring-like as opposed to wintry. So just goes to show what you can do if you switch things up. So there's my card for the color challenge and the sketch challenge tonight. Let's bring those back in. So that's the color challenge. I used all of the colors. Gee, I used all of the colors in this, hard to believe. And then there's the sketch. I stayed pretty true to that sketch, just adding the frame around my centerpiece. All right. So thanks for joining me tonight. And I will, I do think it did not go live in my Facebook group, and I'm not sure it went live on YouTube either. Not sure what's going on. Still playing with this new technology. So I'll check that out. And if it isn't live in those 2 places, I'll make sure I post this